Your friends are scrolling through short content, but you, my friend, you're here to learn. Welcome to TRS Clips. Now, I will let you shed some light on the tantric sex aspect.
Yeah.
Because most people look at tantric sex as a tool to improve their sex life.
So this is like where does, as we were discussing in the last podcast, so this whole concept of tantric sex, or sex for that matter, comes in at the level of Vamachara Tantra, where it's, as I mentioned, there's a level that's called the Vamachara, which is the left hand path. In left hand path, you start offering meat, you offer alcohol, you offer fish, you offer mudra, and you offer sex.
And this is at a very high level of tantra.
High level of
After
tantra.
you've done a lot of the lower level
Practices,
stuff.
yes. So more, in fact, it is to say that you to pick out sex out of these 5 things. We call this technically the Pancha Makara, 5 M's. Okay. So to pick out just one aspect out of it and then to believe that this is going to improve your sex life, etc., is equivalent to saying that, okay, I just take out that meat offering part of it and perhaps that's a way to increase protein intake in my body. So that would be that ridiculous. So the aim, that's what I said, the aim of the process, of the whole process of everything that is done in Tantra is worship of the deity. It has to be very clear and firm in your mind. So long as something is helping you in worship of the deity, and it is within the permitted rules of Tantric Upasana, we call it, the practice, it is allowed for you. Okay. But the aim has to be clear that it is for the worship of the deity. It is not for pleasure. It is not for any other kind of indulgence. It is not going to make you a Superman or anything of that sort. Okay. So having said that, sex is also one of the things that can be offered to the deities, but there is a process to it. It is not normal sex, and it requires certain amount of preparation of mantra upasana, which means the chanting of mantras of the deity. And chanting of mantras not just one, twice. So Tantra looks at it this way. You have an Ishta Devata, a god you are worshipping, the form of the mother that you are worshipping, and you may have to chant lakhs of mantras of that deity. Not even 1-2 lakhs. Some texts will tell you 5, 10, 15, 20 lakhs of the mantra.
A lakh is 100,000.
100,000. Yeah. Of the mantra that you have obtained from a legitimate guru through a tantric initiation. Okay. Now suppose, so Tantra was never originally a path of the sannyasis. Though various sannyasi sects later on adopted Tantra because it is very powerful, its techniques are powerful, it adopted those parts which did not violate with their sannyasi code, which means that they did not take these aspects of Tantra. They took the right hand path, which is called the Dakshinachara. That is also Tantra. So Tantra's idea, fundamental idea was that the things that make you fall in normal religion, whether it's meat, whether it's alcohol, whether it's sex, etc., which is the standard idea, is that these will make you fall. So let us divinize those processes so that they become the means through which you can attain to the divine. Okay. And in this, one of the most legendary tantric acharyas, in fact, he is almost is beyond an acharya. He is one of the greatest Nath yogis. He was known as Matsyendra Nath. He used to live in Kamakhya. Okay, and he was born somewhere in Bengal, and he practiced his Tantra Sadhana Upasana in Kamakhya, and he composed a lot of text on these aspects of Tantra, Yogini Sadhana and Bhairavi Sadhana, etc. So, the fundamental basic idea at what primary level of where sex is used in Tantra is that the partners have to be, first of all, initiated into the process. Both. It cannot be one person. Both. So
by a guru?
By a guru, definitely.
By the same guru?
It can, ideally it's the same guru. Okay, ideally if it's the same guru, in fact, the guru not only does initiate, but he also ensures if it's a husband-wife partner, etc. So they will initiate that it is the same form of the deity that is given to them.
This is also where we should mention a word of caution, because this is where a lot of people might misuse their position of spiritual power.
Yes, that's there. That's another aspect. Yes.
Do you want to shed some light on that?
But first, let's complete this thought process.
Sure.
So guru initiates both the partners. In any case, both the partners must have the tantric initiation. Okay, that is mandatory. Number 2, they must be doing their mantra sadhana properly, which is the mantra japa of the devata, deity. That is like doing a seva to the seva means a service to the deity. And the deity, by the way, in once you go higher into Tantra sadhana, it is the average conception of the deity that we look at is the Vigraha, the Murti in temples. Wonderful that is there. That's for the public. But for you, the mantra is the deity. For an individual who is into the tantric path, the mantra that is given to you, okay, whatever is the mantra, that mantra is the deity. It is like the subtle body of the deity. As we were talking about subtle body and physical body. So the mantra is the subtle body of the deity.
Astral body.
Astral body, sort of that. And when you are chanting that mantra, you are trying to connect to the subtle body of the deity. Now, fundamentally, what this process entails is that when both of these partners, it doesn't just happen, it's not like something that you just go ahead and have sex. No, there's a puja that has to be done specifically. There are mantra japas that has to be done. And then there are certain mudras, certain manners in which they have to sit in certain postures, etc. And during the course of having sex, they have to keep chanting the mantra of the deity. And that mantra japa is not, it's not a 1 minute thing, it's not a 2 minute thing. Sometimes texts will recommend that you have to chant a mantra which is so long that may take you 30 minutes, 35 minutes. How do you last for so long? Till the mantra japa is complete, there cannot be a release, there cannot be an orgasm. In order to do that, there were techniques that were added so that you can hold back the orgasm, both specifically for the male, while you are continuing the mantra japa. So the primary aim is, if you're not doing the mantra japa and if you're just having sex and practicing those techniques, it is useless. It has got nothing to do with Tantra sadhana. Whatever else you are doing, that is not Tantra sadhana.
Again, another tale of caution. This is why tantric healers, tantric sexual healers, it's all of ours.
More or less. I would not.
I'm talking about the Western tantric sexual, who keep it in the Instagram bios and all.
Yeah.
If you're going to one of them, just be careful.
I don't know why they add tantra to it, because most often there is no tantra involved in it. It's just some sexual techniques and all that. You can package it in any name.
This is what gives spirituality a bad name.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Whatever.
But if it is done correctly, both the partners are of that similar caliber. So there are more rules in this. Some of them perhaps cannot even be spoken of without. So they have these rules are there, that these certain esoteric aspects of this. Sometimes it is referred to, for example, as panchama. Panchama means fifth. Fifth means that it is talking about the fifth of the 5 offerings, which is sex basically. Okay. So panchama, sometimes when you're talking about the panchama offering, etc., there are many rules of how to judge the partner. Yes, just by observation. So when you're worshipping the goddess, for example, there are thus 10 Mahavidyas are there. Okay. Leaving aside one of the Mahavidyas.
Mahavidya is the goddess.
Great wisdom. The tantric goddesses.
Forms of the goddess that each represent a different form of wisdom.
Yes.
Okay.
And the Mahavidya worship is tantric. Okay. So leaving aside one of the Mahavidyas, for the other Mahavidyas, there is a dictum, it's believed, and it's not to be mindlessly applied, that every woman has some of the other influence of these 10 goddesses. Every woman. Whether she is aware of it or not is irrelevant.
Why not every man?
That is because women are considered as a representative of Shakti. Men are considered as representative of the Purusha Tattva.
Shiva,
Purusha. Purusha is Shiva. Krishna can also be a Purushottama. I was just mentioning yesterday, and that's it. That's another topic. Okay, we'll skip that for now because it'll divert it into another.
Yes.
And that's also beautiful. All of it is beautiful. I mean, there's no part that is not beautiful. So women are considered as a representative of Shakti. Okay. Now, this statement, however, cannot be misused out of context, which doesn't mean that every woman that you meet, you have to fall at her feet. No, then you're getting it all wrong. Okay. This is only relevant to somebody who is doing specific sadhana, specific worship in the tantric method and has reached a certain level. Okay. Otherwise, in your normal context, when you meet whether a man or a woman, in the normal rational way that you interact with them. That's all. Neither good nor bad. Doesn't mean a thing. Now, if you're that kind of a person who has had a tantric initiation and is a tantric upasaka and has done certain sadhanas and has reached
upasaka is a practitioner.
So, is a practitioner, correct. The practitioner has the right initiations and most importantly has done the practice properly. It's very important. There are people I know who have a lot of initiations, no practice. That also will not work. It's useless. That's like you hanging 10 medals around you, but inside there's nothing. So then by looking at the woman, you will know that which of the Mahavidyas she represents, which of the forms of Shakti is latent inside her. That's one thing. Latent means that most of them are not even aware, and which is perfectly all right. Just like most men have Purusha Tattva, but that doesn't mean that every man is Lord Shiva or Lord Krishna. It doesn't work. Same way, not every woman has anything to do with the deity. There is the potential for one. If the sadhana is correctly done, that potential can awaken. If that woman becomes self-aware of what she holds within, then she becomes one of the Bhairavis and Yoginis in the higher realms. And then everybody will fall at the feet of such a woman. And that is very rare, and it's possible, and it happens there. And it's a very high level idea. But in this Upasana, the other thing is that it breaks certain mental taboos that is there in the normal course of Upasana. In the Vedic or standard Upasana, we are told that you have to maintain a certain degree of celibacy, which is right, I'm not denying that. In certain practices, celibacy is very important. Otherwise, it will not work. It will not show you the result. It causes a break in concentration, more or less. One of the typical effects of not having celibacy is that it causes a break in the concentration at the peak moment when you are supposed to have 110% focus on the mantra and the deity. That is where thoughts and images of sexual encounters will rise up, and it happens from the chitta within. It rises up and it is going to break your concentration. You will not get the result.
The chitta is the core of your soul.
It's like your mind. It's a part of your mind. It's like that place inside you where impressions happen all the time.
Subconscious mind?
Conscious mind only, but it's latent, just below the conscious mind. You're meeting somebody, you're anything, whatever activity you're doing, it just collects an impression of it.
Okay.
And randomly it throws up. Just like that. When you're not thinking about it, suddenly, specifically when you're trying to meditate, it's going to throw up all sorts of images. It happens to everybody. Okay. Coming back to the topic of tantric sex. So basically, this practice is done during the time of this sadhana. During the time, the woman is actually to be made to sit in a specific posture, and mantras have to be chanted all over her body. And I will not go into the specific details of how this is done and what mantras also. Everything is as per, it's not something randomly done. These are things that are mentioned in text and passed down through traditions, of those traditions where these forms are worshipped. Specific forms of the mother, the Mahavidyas are there, for whom this sadhana is extremely potent. Okay, you have to know, number one. Number two, there is a knowledge of what kind of a partner is suitable for this. Somebody who has, through mantra sadhana, there is an intuitive ability that develops. Just by looking at a person, you'll get to know what kind of result is going to happen. And this thing, by the way, extrapolates it outside of the tantric context also. The reason why there is a certain amount of control over sex is always advised in the spiritual path, because when you have unrestricted sexual encounters with people, you do not know what karmas they have done. You are going to imbibe their energy. That is the easiest way to take in somebody else's energy, is that.
Tantra believes that if you have sex with someone you don't know, you're saying, I accept this person's karmas as my own.
Yeah, not just Tantra. Anyway, it will happen. Is the easiest way. On the other hand, if this process is correctly done and the right people are there, it is when you are doing it as a practice, as a spiritual practice, not just for enjoyment, etc., spiritual practice, it has the power to instantly open up all the chakras in your body.
Which could be dangerous?
No. It can lead you then. And mind you, everything is going perfect. I'm talking about the result that it finally produces. If everything is right, it will lead you to a state known as Mahabhava Samadhi, which means that you are in a state of absolute bliss, rapture.
Extended orgasm?
No, it's way beyond that. You will have a vision of the deity. It will be in a state of samadhi, means basically your mind becomes absolutely concentrated on the deity, and there will be a manifestation of the deity. And it is a state of, it's unbelievable if it's correctly done. And the progress that will happen between the two partners together, it's like it doubles your power.
Probably also get connected to your partner more deeply.
That is there. That's a side effect of it. That is also there beforehand, which means that this process is anyway not going to work if you have not had the same partner for many lifetimes. Just like that, if you meet karmically somebody, it's not going to work out. It will just be a relationship, and 2 days later, you'll have some fight and each will go its own way.
So I'm assuming that the guru who actually initiates both the partners into this will ensure that either they are husband and wife or...
So here is, in this age today, mostly it is ensured that it's a husband and wife. But there is another tradition, older tradition that used to happen, And there are certain tantric sampradayas where tantric upasakas were almost like sannyasis, sort of. So not sannyasis, sort of, they've left society.
Hermits.
Kind of hermits, yeah, maybe. Basically, they've left society, so they're not part of a formal society. They only practice the tantric upasana, and they're connected to the mandali. Mandali means group. That specific group who practice tantra sadhana. In their marriage is not specifically there. Out of free will, they decide. Both the partners decide, and the guru decides whether they have the capacity for it. Okay. Here is the thing: what is the level of the male partner, and what is the level of the female partner? And there are specific terms that are used. For the male, the term that is used is Bhairava, and the female, the term that is used is Bhairavi. Okay. So whether the Bhairava and the Bhairavi are matched for this kind of a practice, and then they can stay together for some period, could be months, could be years, etc. And they may even go out in the sense that, part ways in the sadhana. So this was an accepted idea in tantric circles earlier, when there used to be more of people who used to leave society, normal society, and practice entirely in the tantric path.
So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out this playlist for more videos just like this. It's TRS Clips.